With Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides in theaters now, enjoy the first 4 films of the franchise with this amazing Blu-ray box set. Click the link below for more details. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, and the other day I went and saw Alien Covenant. I should have done this review right after I saw it, but I've been super busy ever since. But yeah, Alien Covenant, went out, saw the movie, and a lot of people out there have been ragging on this thing. I know Angry Joe didn't like it. A lot of other people were just shitting on it completely. My thoughts are, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. It was actually more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. So this review, this what I think, will have many, many, many spoilers in it. So if you guys want to know yay or nay to go see it. If you liked Prometheus, yeah, go see it. If you didn't like Prometheus, wait for home video to watch it. It's that kind of movie. I don't think you need to see it in IMAX. I don't think it's necessarily going to be impacted by that. If you had seen like Prometheus in IMAX, that movie was shot spectacularly, and like the visuals for 2012 and that setting were amazing. Like I saw it 3D IMAX midnight show, and it was wonderful in terms of like the special effects. Here it was a much more downplayed story, but I'm going to talk about that. So spoiler territory from here on out, but that's what I have to say if you are unsure about the movie. Also, or you go see it like for like $5 on a Tuesday or something, because that's a worthy price regardless of anything. Okay, so spoiler time. So this movie takes place 10 years after Prometheus, where the Covenant, the USS Covenant, is being sent off into deep space looking for basically a habitable zone planet in order for colonization. The crew is led by 15 people that are currently looking after 2,000 souls on board and about 1,200 frozen embryos, as well as all the construction materials needed to colonize this planet. It's a 7-year trip. They're not too far into it, I think, and a solar flare or a neutrino blast basically takes out the ship, and they at that point, you know, Walter, the synthetic, he wakes everybody up, and then they wake up, and James Franco dies. For some reason, you get like one shot of him in the movie, really, and then they're like, "What do we do?" And then they realize, "Oh wait, there's this beacon. We should go out there and check it out." Because the new captain is unsure of himself and wants to do right by his crew. So they go to the planet, they encounter everything, and it goes all fucking crazy. You've seen the trailer. If you've seen the trailer for the movie, you've pretty much seen the first like half of the film is mostly in that trailer. The big points are basically in there. Like they land, they go out and they explore. One dude steps on the spores go in his ear, it ends up creating the neomorph, and everything else, and then that's what comes out of his back and kills one of the chicks, and then the other chick, it basically shoots at it with a shotgun, hits a explosive barrel, and takes out the entire landing craft, killing herself in the process, stranding everyone else there. And then of course here comes David. David comes and saves him and everything. And then you find out the dastardly plan. But the thing is, this movie has a lot of characters in it, right? Like I said, there were 15 people that were crewing it. One of them died, so there were 14 that were left, and I don't think including Walter's character. And they all go down there, and they're 2 by 2 Noah's Ark sort of thing. But you don't really get emotionally connected to any character. That was my biggest problem with this. With Prometheus, you got a little bit of that with Elizabeth Shaw, and a little bit with David, and a little bit with like Charlize Theron's character and Idris Elba's character. There were interactions with these characters that felt more like they felt more like they were inclined to have us have an emotional connection with them. Here, these people were almost like just cannon fodder, ready to be taken out when they died. I don't even really remember any of their names outside of Danny McBride's Tennessee. That happens to be because they said Tennessee a lot, and I also really like Danny McBride, and I'm glad to see him in this movie. But when you get to the planet, when they get down there and they meet up with David, and David has been alone here for 10 years, you don't quite know why. But if you've seen the short film that leads into the movie, again, this is where the marketing just fucked this film up, because they released like the Last Supper little vignette that was the 2.5 minutes of everyone getting ready to go into hypersleep and everything else, and showing James Franco and them all talking about like the mission and everything. Not in the movie. Not at all in the movie. That was a character building moment. That was getting introductions to a lot of the core cast. Never got that whatsoever. So when people started to die, there was no emotional connection to them whatsoever. And that was one of my biggest takeaways from this was like, I don't care who you are. Why should I care that you're going to die? I just want to see more Xenomorph. And I think that was something Ridley Scott really took into account, because that was one of the biggest criticisms of Prometheus was, where was the Xenomorph? Oh, we had the Neomorph and the giant squid fucking baby thing, but that was really about it. And that was one of the issues with this film as well, is you get, you find out essentially, if you saw that little trailer, a little preview short film where David, goes to the engineer home planet and then it looks like he's going to bomb it. Yeah, he bombed it. He bombed it hard. Landed the ship, or crash landed the ship. He's been stuck there. And then he's been working on the genetic makeup of the Xenomorph. Because we learned, even going into the movie, from pre-release content, that David is the person who created the Xenomorphs. It wasn't the engineers. It was David engineering a way to kill us. Engineering that. Like, there was, again, all of this weird shit went into it that I kind of enjoyed. But at the same time, it's also like, what? Why is this happening like this? So you find out that he created the Xenomorphs. He's been experimenting for a long time on these particular organisms, hence why there's no birds, there's no animals, there's no nothing nearby, probably because they've all run off or they've all been killed. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to create the perfect organism in order to, I want to say, replace us as a species. And the reason for this actually has a lot to do with the fact that he's a synthetic. He was the first synthetic, is essentially what they've been trying to allude to. And in fact, the opening of the movie has him there with Guy Pearce, as Wayland, many years before they went off on the Prometheus, and it was after David was created, and they're talking about, like, I'm your father and blah blah blah, and David was never given the ability to create on his own, and that is something that he wanted. That is something that he was seeking. And so here he kind of just overthrew his programming and started effectively creating these things that he could then be their father, and that was his entire point. One of the biggest problems with this movie was there wasn't a real big amount of intensity. The first Alien, there was intensity, right? 1979, oh my god, intense as hell. This one, not as intense. You saw a lot of stuff coming. Again, that has a lot to do with the marketing, showing us a lot of the stuff. It's one of the reasons why I recommend not watching previews anymore. Just don't watch them. It's not worth it. They really give away a lot of shit, especially if you looked at the new Spider-Man trailers. They gave away a lot of story points. And so it's like what's meant to be a tease is now kind of giving you this entree that could almost double as the full meal. And I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons leading to people not going to the movies as often anymore, because this film didn't even do as well as they wanted it to. $36 million opening weekend, just barely beating Guardians in its third week by $1 million, and this is the problem too, is that Ridley Scott, I don't think, knows what to do with this franchise anymore. He's trying to establish these roots, these man-seeking creator, the synth-seeking creator, the synth becoming a creator, all of these things that he was trying to work on with this movie. Some stuff really worked, some stuff didn't work. Like, when you find out that basically he killed Shaw by trying to put the parasite in her, and everything else, like, that was that. And it's just but at the end of it, my question was, why? Like, why this creature? Why this thing? What is it necessarily? But then it's also like he spent 10 years on his own on this planet that he had killed everybody on. He took out the engineer species. He effectively went and killed God and then was stuck there. And that's what maybe Island of Dr. Moreau kicked in. That's kind of the idea, because there was like all the different face huggers that he had made and the different variations that he had been able to bring about from implanting the parasite on different species, and then leading to humans. And then when Billy Crudup was got the face hugger and the egg went in his chest, the entire chest bursting scene, there was no intensity there. There was nothing there. It wasn't like John Hurt, like, oh, doubling over and then it pumping out and then like everyone not knowing what the fuck's going on. Here he's by himself. David is watching. The alien pops out and then David just kind of stands up, does this puppet master thing, and the alien like follows him. Like that, he knows that's his creator. Like he's imprinting on it, which is very weird. Just didn't make any sense. These are uncontrollable, unstoppable killing machines. He's not their queen. He's their maker, but where's the queen? Where are all of these things? That's the whole point, is that doesn't make any sense to me. But I think we're going to find that out. Because this apparently is, there's like either 1 or 2 more movies before we get to Alien, and so it's going to bridge the gap to kind of let us know how things got to LV-426. Mostly because at the end of this movie, David ended up killing Walter, and then takes over the ship. Everyone goes to sleep. And as Catherine Waterston's character is in the pod getting ready to go to sleep, she realizes that it's David as she's getting ready to be knocked out. And that was actually really cool. Like, I saw it coming, but I also really liked it because it very much, it was well done. That was a well done scene because he's all like, shh. And she's like, no, David, no, and then she's like, right. And then he now is in control, and he has 2,000 souls on board that are in cryosleep for 7 years. He ends up regurgitating a couple embryos of the facehuggers. And then it's like, basically he can continue his experimentation in order to craft the perfect killing machine. Reason why, we don't quite know yet. It might be because he has a hatred for mankind because of his creator. But there's a line in there, though. There's a weird line right there before the realization that this is David. Like, the audience at this point pretty much knows. It's not 100% yet, but it's pretty much there. And, she asks him, like, do you think this next world will be good? And he says, if we are kind, it will be kind in return. Which makes me feel like, because he did not like Weyland at the end of Prometheus. He saw what he had become. He didn't, like the callousness, the carelessness, the selfishness. And David, I think, didn't want that necessarily. Like, I think David wants there to be good. So there is a weird dichotomy there of his mindset, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And I do want to see the movie again. I will probably pick it up when it's like $10 on Blu-ray, and to add it to the collection of everything else I've got. And then I could watch that and Prometheus back to back. And I think that'd be pretty good. And then of course, whatever movie comes out next, will probably bridge the gap. But this is the thing too. Ridley Scott needs to drop this franchise. This is not his Star Wars. This is not his Avatar. And he is trying to make it that. It's one of the reasons why he cock-blocked Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5, a film people were genuinely excited for, instead replaced it with, well, we're gonna do an Alien sequel to Prometheus, and everyone's like, no, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want the other one. We want Ripley back. We want Ripley alive, not gone to prison and died, or resurrected via cloning. No, we want, Ripley and and Hicks and everything. And we want more of the James Cameron style of things. And you could tell that was there too. And you could tell Ridley Scott as a whole was trying to like wrestle with that. He wanted to give people the action and still give people that kind of level of fear. Like, there's a scene where the xenomorph gets on the ship at the end, and they do the whole, like, little blip on the radar and the ducks and everything. And that was pretty cool. And I genuinely enjoyed the climax of it. And ultimately, I did like the movie. It just had some problems. And it's not the dumbness of the characters. Their motivations, if you really stop and look at it, they do make sense. The key characters, right? Like the captain, or the new captain, Billy Crudup, Catherine Waterston's character, David's character, both him and Walter. You get all of that. Like, their motivations are there. But it's also I think there's a longer extended cut in this movie that will give us more plot. And that's honestly, at this point, what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the Alien Covenant director's cut, because Ridley Scott seems to work better in that long format, very similar to Zack Snyder. And it's unfortunate that studios are so afraid of the longer cuts that they chop it down and they chop out crucial plot points in order to keep the audience up to date. And that's the unfortunate side of this. Anyway, I mean, I liked it. I wouldn't give it like, I'd say a solid 7.5 out of 10. you know, like thumbs up, go see it sort of thing. But what do you guys think if you guys saw it? I do want to know. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and see you later.